Charlie may have never known my name, but his words have shaped my walk with Christ in ways few others have. To me, he's a torchbearer in a world that often walks in the dark. His boldness and unshakable faith have lit a fire in my spirit, one that continues to grow stronger with time. Being a Christian today is no easy thing. It's not just about going to church or saying the right things when the ground beneath you feels like it's shifting. Through Charlie's speeches, podcasts, and interviews, I found someone who didn't just talk about faith, he lived it. He showed me that conviction isn't something to be hidden, it's something to be carried with pride. He speaks about truth like it's a shield and a sword, something to protect with and something to fight for. And more than anything, he reminded me that Christianity isn't a quiet corner of your life. It's the foundation on which everything else should be built on.
3 years ago, as a freshman in high school, I was quick to believe whatever showed up on my feed. I felt surrounded by media and voices that were constantly spoon-feeding my generation ideas that seemed crazy, distorted, and overwhelming. It was hard to know what was true anymore. At the time, I didn't have opinions of my own, and without them, I couldn't tell what I truly agreed with or where I stood. I didn't have a voice of my own, and I didn't care to. I then came across Charlie Kirk on Instagram one day. He was debating a group of college kids, and the confidence he had in his faith, politics, and knowledge really inspired me. From that point on, I began following him, and within 3 years, his platform grew tremendously, and he had debated and educated students all over the country. Charlie did something throughout America that is pretty remarkable. He invested time and effort into an entire generation to set an example on how to be a good citizen who is proud to live in this country that we call home. Charlie worked tirelessly, and even though he had fans, he also had many who disagreed with him. It was through those disagreements that he showed us there can be civil and respectful debate with one another. He challenged students to be different from the rest and to not settle for comfort or conformity. Charlie lit a spark, not only within myself, but through my generation, to care about what we believe in and to care about our nation.
We're here to honor a man who's impacted countless lives, including mine, Charlie Kirk. And I think the best way to honor him is living a principle he so often lived by, and that's honor everyone above yourself. Romans 12:10 says, "Be devoted to one another in love, honor one another above yourself." Charlie inspired me in many ways I'll carry with me for the rest of my life. He showed me what it means to be a faithful Christian in a world that desperately needs faith. I grew up in a household of faithful Christians, but it was always inspiring to witness a man so full of passion, not just for the God he served, but for the country he loved. Charlie also showed me what it means to live a life of boldness and courage. He's willing to step into public places, whether it's a college campus, a political arena, wherever he is, he's there to speak truth. Like Joshua of the Old Testament, Charlie lived with strength and courage, and his voice transformed a generation of believers that will live on forever, reminding us to hold on to the conservative values and unwavering morals even when the world pushes back.
I'm so honored to be able to speak in front of all y'all tonight to honor a man who changed my life in a way that I didn't even know was possible, and his name was Charlie Kirk. To me, Charlie was not only an inspiration because of the things he accomplished, but because of his courage and his faith in what he stood for. He was a man that believed that no matter the darkness in this world, faith will always surpass that darkness. Faith will always come before that darkness, and God will always prevail. Charlie was the voice for those who didn't have a voice or were too afraid to speak. He was someone who lived boldly and courageously, knowing he would be persecuted. Not only did Charlie inspire me to start a Turning Point USA chapter in my own school, Charlie showed me that I do have a voice, and every single one of y'all have a voice here tonight, and I encourage every single one of y'all to stand up. Stand up for your faith.
But first and foremost, I would not be here without Charlie Kirk. Turning Point is what got my start. Many young conservatives, including me, got a fire lit under us from a single Turning Point event. Charlie Kirk captivated me with his passion and principled way of life. It was something that I wanted to encapsulate myself. From the moment that I saw him speak live in San Antonio, June of 2024, I knew what my calling was, and I pivoted away from what I had originally planned.
I knew that there were people like me who wanted to change our country for the better. A little less than a year ago, I went to a college up in Denton to see him speak on one of his little tours, and he inspired me with his wealth of knowledge. I've continued to push forward the conservative movement in every way I can because of him. Without Turning Point, I would have never interned in DC this summer. I would have never gotten to go to the inauguration and do all the wonderful things, get out to vote in multiple states. He's done so much for me. He was a devoted father, husband, leader, and most of all, follower of Christ. This tragedy has not and will not scare us away from debate, and it will not scare us into hiding. Sit back quietly. This is far from over. There has been a lot of hate going around, and a lot of people hate us for our values. But remember, John 15, verse 18.
Chapter president at Texas A&M San Antonio. I had the incredible opportunity to meet Charlie on a couple of occasions. I volunteered at his American Comeback Tour in College Station, and we got to take photos with him, and he made it a point to take an individual photo with every single volunteer. And if you never knew Charlie, you should know one thing: he really, really, truly loved his young activists. He made it a point to learn our names and learn our faces, and later I sat at a dinner with him in Dallas at Young Women's Leadership Summit, and he remembered my name months later. So that's just a little bit about who Charlie was as a person. And I know that we're all here to grieve and remember Charlie right now. But more than that, I feel like at this point I'm angry. And so I'm gonna contradict you a little bit, Tristan, because I think it's okay that we're angry. I really do. And it's not gonna be easy. Charlie knew that. He fought for the values of truth, justice, and freedom, which are under relentless attack. And I don't think that anybody who's under attack cannot be angry. Ephesians 4:26 says, "Be angry and do not sit in sin. Do not let the sun go down on your anger. I say to you today, let your anger fuel your actions. Stand up, speak out. Do not let this world drown out the truth." John 14:1-3 says, Jesus promised us, "Do not let your hearts be troubled. You believe in God, believe also in me. My Father's house has many rooms. If that were not so, would I have not told you that I am preparing a place for you?" And Charlie Kirk is in that place of peace now. But our fight continues here. America is not finished. My generation is not finished. And we're not done raising the generation who's going to carry on this mission after I die.